is a number of plays. I don't have the same paperwork in front of you. You did not elect to go with the tempo that you normally use today. So what was the play count? That's usually the first place you look.
84-58.
Okay, so that, I mean, you probably knew that. I mean, that was part of the game plan, obviously, coming in. We can talk about the execution of those plays. How about starting with an overview here, Coach? You walk away after a 47-21 defeat. Certainly we saw some flashes today. What was your assessment?
Well, I just think you're playing a very exceptional football team, and you just can't you can't make mistakes. If you're going to have turnovers, which we had in the second half, and if you don't match those turnovers on the other side on the defense, which we were doing early, it's just hard to stay with a team like this. You got to get lucky. They got to give some to you, and then you got to play almost a perfect game. And we gave a really good effort. I'm really proud of the effort that the guys gave. I really did believe that they were fighting out there, but just too much firepower on the other side.
All right, let's go back to the pregame statement. I'll use the word statement. I don't know if that's what you intended, but you did not travel your most explosive offensive player. What were you hoping to accomplish there, and was that a message at all to the rest of the team? And how did how do they respond, did you think?
Matt, I think I would love to talk about all that stuff, but that stuff is always in-house with us. That's family business. And, I love that young man, and I want nothing but the best for him and his mom. And I've sat in their living room, and I told him I'd take care of him like he was my own son. And I would not do anything to him that I would not do to my own son. Now, they're going to say, well, Coach, you don't have a son. But I got 4 daughters. I got 2 son-in-laws. And I treat them like family. So that stuff's internal. And I can't wait to get back to talk to him. And hopefully everything's going to be okay. And he's going to be with us for many more battles to come.
All right, understood. So we saw really 2 MVPs today at least. One is Garrett Williams. He has a pick 6 at the end of the half. How did it change things on the sideline? What did you see on the play?
Well, I mean, he did a fantastic job of obviously reading the quarterback's eyes and getting the pick. And then he ran that ball. I mean, we may have a new punt return and kickoff return. And he pushed that thing up the sideline, and I thought he could have kept it there. But then, that's the reason why I'm old and he's young. He saw something and broke it to the right. Then he walked in, 4 or 5 yards with the ball, showcasing the ball. I'm sitting there going, wow. Here's another young guy showing up, just letting you know how young this team is. And for him to make a play like that on a stage like this against a team like that, hopefully he's going to be around here a long, long while. It was very exciting to see.
On the offensive side, the MVP coach missing something is Nakeem Johnson, your 2 longest plays from scrimmage. What did he offer today? Well,
Nakeem is that senior. He did not have what him and I would consider a stellar junior year, and he came with an extremely right attitude. And he was going to do things right, not settle for being average. And the camp that he had and the effort that he's been putting in practice has been amazing. And I'm really excited for him that it's not only is it showing up in games, but it's showing up against some of the best competition in the country and on national TV. I'm happy for him.
We talked during the week about your approach to this game, the long odds. You said, hey, I don't play for ties. I'm going to go down swinging. I'm going to take my shot. How do you weigh that against your 4th down and 1 decision in the 3rd? You punt there. You did back up Clemson to the 3-yard line, but walk us through that decision and justification if you can.
Well, the whole thing about going for it on 4th down and not going on 4th down is when everybody in the booth is saying you should go for it, that's probably the time you shouldn't go for it. And when the time where everybody says there's no way you're going to go for it there is the time that you should go for it. I mean, they pulled a fake punt on us in a very critical situation. And we were actually ready for it. We were like, nope, we're ready for it. But we weren't ready for them to triple block the guy that had the thing. And they blocked the guys on Kingsley, and they got around our edge. So I think the biggest thing is if you guys can say that you should go for it somewhere, it may not be the best time to go for it unless it's just dead obvious.
Well, and nobody during the week thought this game would hinge on 1 4th down and 1 call. So let's put that out there as well. And the last thing, Coach, everybody knows going into this game you wanted to come out of it healthy. Anything to share on Sean Tucker or anybody else at this point?
Sean couldn't finish. Lower body thing. You got to see how it goes. But my hat goes off to that young man. I mean, at halftime, for us to be in a game like this and for him to have more yards at halftime than ETN, I'm sitting there going, he was really, really running well. So I really hope that, he's able to come back with us. But I'll tell you what, he has had an eye-opening first half of the season, and I'm really excited for him and his family.
Yeah, ETN did his damage today, just like he has against everybody else. So, Coach, thanks for the candor, and you got a bus trip ahead of you. Safe travels.
Yeah, thank you.
Orange head coach Dino.
Thanks, Coach. Now we'll go to the media who are on the call today, and we'll start with Eric Columbia from Spectrum News.
Hey, Dino. After last week's efforts, your team, could have come out and laid an egg today, but they really played well, and the effort was really strong. I know there's no moral victories. You mentioned that in the past, but what does this do for the team's morale moving forward?
Well, I think it just lets them know that when they're all playing together and they don't care who gets the credit, that they can be a formidable opponent. That doesn't mean we're going to win. Winning is difficult. Winning is hard. And but if you do things right and you care about each other, it gives you a solid chance.
Thanks, Coach. Now we'll go to Matt Houseworth from CNY Central.
I'm curious to know just how you're feeling after a game like this. Are you encouraged with what we saw from your guys out there today?
You look at the score and it's, you still get beat decently. You look at the third quarter and it's a 7-point game. I'm proud of that part of it. You're talking about a defense that had held the last two teams to single-digit first downs for the entire game. Now, we went over that, but you get a first and goal in the 9, and it doesn't work out your way after a reverse on 3rd and 5. That you kind of wish what the guy would have scored. Like, oh my God, we got to make another call. But it was just one of those games, and I don't know what it is about the orange versus the orange, but it just seems to be, if you don't have anything to do on a Saturday, it might not be a bad game to watch.
Thanks, Coach. Now we'll go to Darius Joshua from Channel 9.
How you doing, Coach? After last week's game against Liberty, you had said that there was a lot of frustration kind of just in the locker room, knowing that the product on the field just wasn't good enough that week. What was the feeling this week, knowing that everything going into this game in terms of what Clemson is and what they've done in the past?
Well, I thought the guys at first, early part of the week, I just didn't like the look in their eye, and brought them over early in the week, and we had a conversation, and I had one of those deals where I'm like, hey, I want everybody that's beaten Clemson, come stand behind me. And I said, now, coaches, I want your ass. Oops, excuse me. I want you behind me too. Excuse me, brother. And it was just a fact that, hey, it's hard. It's difficult. Hey, it was hard on David too versus Goliath. But if the man upstairs says he wants it to happen today, it's going to happen. And we just got to make sure we do our part and we go in the game with the right way. And when you hit them, it's going to be hard. I told both our safeties, I told Han and I told Carter, I said, you're going to hit ETN. And after you hit him the first time, you're going to go, I don't know if I want to hit this guy anymore. Now, you'll watch a couple of plays, and there were some plays like that. And there were some other plays where they found a way to get him down. And that's what you've got to do versus big-time tailbacks, is don't worry about how you look. Just make sure when the play is over that he's on the ground, because God made him special. And we got to just tackling him is an honor. And he's something, and that quarterback is really something. And you look at that young defense and the plays that those guys were making back there. I mean, it was exceptional. It was good football out there, but there's no doubt there's a reason why that's the #1 ranked team in the country, and they have a lot of players.
Thanks, Coach. Next, we'll go to Chris Carlson from Syracuse.com.
Dino, you talked about not liking what you saw through the middle of the week. Was there a moment or point when you felt good about how your team was going to respond? And was there any instance of leadership that you saw that you kind of felt like contributed to their great effort today?
I thought the seniors picked it up this week, but I'm going to tell you this right now. Every time, this is a sidebar. This is an analogy. Every time I've had a coach walk up to me and say, this was a great pregame warm-up. These guys are really ready to play. We get smoked. We absolutely get smoked. In fact, it's to the point now where I would gut punch somebody that does that to me. They know to say that to coach. But you really can't tell what kind of game it's going to be until you get into the game. They're just so young. They're so diverse, different backgrounds. But I felt like they were going about their work in a serious manner by the time we got to the middle and the end of the week, which all that does is give us a chance. And when you look at the game, it looks like maybe we didn't have a chance, but it was close for a while, and I thought the guys played well. I thought they gave a lot of effort.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. Now we'll go to Danny Emmerman from the Daily Orange.
Hey, Dino. So going back to opting to punt on that fourth down coming out of the timeout, how much, if at all, does the context of the game, being on the verge of beating the best team in the country, one of the biggest upsets ever.
What yard line were we on?
Sorry?
What yard line were we on?
The 41-yard line.
The minus 41?
Yeah.
When the minus 41, what was the score?
27-21.
Was it 27-21 or 27-20? 27-21?
Yep.
So if we go for it on the minus 41 and we don't get it and they score in 2 plays, what question would you be asking me right now?
You're probably right. I'd probably be asking the opposite question. But I guess my question
I'm going to answer your question, and I'm not trying to put you on blast. Here's the point. Whether I do or I don't, there's going to be a story written, okay? But the way I looked at it, to answer your question, is it's the minus 41. Our defense has been playing well. If we can get a good punt down here and maybe the guy throws us another interception, Williams for a touchdown, instead of backing this up that's been playing well, okay, in a backed up situation. So I have one more question. Again, I'm not putting you on blast because this is good for all the other guys. So you keep smiling because I like your question. Where did the ball end up after we punted it?
I believe the 3 is a great punt.
The 3-yard line. So if I told you beforehand that we were going to punt the ball and it was going to be on the 3, okay, or we could not punt the ball and run it on 4th down and we don't know what's going to happen, what would you choose?
I don't know. I'm not a football coach.
That is not true. You better go to church on Sunday. You did not answer that one truthfully. I know what you would have chose. You would have chose the 3-yard line. You know you would have. Okay. Give me another question. So I
guess my question is, do you consider that play a turning point in the game?
I consider every play a turning point in the game. I consider the interception on the 9-yard line a turning point. I consider the touchdown we got off of their quarterback, Trevor, when he threw it to us and we ran it all the way back in. Or when Sean Tucker scored from the 4-yard line. Or when they did a oop-de-doop and threw the ball to the tight end right on the vertical for a touchdown coming out, I believe, to get to 27. I'm not quite sure because that stuff happens. We can't come back to one play. Media can do that. For us, every play matters. Every game matters. So, I mean, you guys get to write about it, but I had a lot of decisions to make. I feel good about what I did.
Thank you, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Coach. For our last question, we'll go to Stephen Bailey from 247 Sports.
Hey, Dino, I think it was on Monday you said that player development is one of the most important aspects you have kind of for the rest of this year. I know having a team that's engaged is really important toward accomplishing that. It seemed like your guys did that today. What kind of confidence does that give you in the ability to see those guys develop, and what does it mean for the rest of the season and the purpose you guys still have?
Well, first of all, the beard is looking outstanding, Stephen. Okay,
Thank you.
Going, bro. I wouldn't say it unless it was real.
Well, if I cut it, you would ask me the other way. Why did you cut it? So I understand.
Exactly right. It looks good, bro. Let me take it to this right here, okay? Because I'm a pitcher guy. Smurf had an opportunity for an interception. It touched his hand and he didn't catch it. And then it popped up. And then it touched his hand again and he didn't catch it. And then he had a third opportunity to catch it. And then it hit the ground. And I'm sitting here and all I could think about is Trevor Pena's first pass that went into the dirt. Justin Barron's first that he caught, and then the guy ripped it out versus Liberty. I mean, it may not be his first pass, but his first big pass. And I'm just thinking, I just can't wait for these guys to turn into sophomores because he's not gonna make that mistake again. But you've got to allow him to make the mistake the first time. Hannah with the fumble that was on the sidelines when all he had to do was just calm down, take a deep breath last game, and pick it up on the sideline, maybe run it in for a touchdown. Instead, he jumps on it like a baby seal on ice and slides the ball out of bounds when there's nobody else around. And, they're going to get older and they're going to get bigger and they get better. And I'm going to have to take all these lumps until they do. But they're coming to a theater near you where they're going to be older and they're going to be better. And then hopefully I won't have to take so many lumps.
Just to follow up, do you ever think you would play Clemson that close when 40% of your roster was freshmen, redshirt and true?
The answer to that would be no. So I answered that question truthfully, where the last media guy, when I told him he had the choice of the 4th and 1 and he said he didn't know, I'm still saying that he really didn't answer that one truthfully. But that's my opinion, okay? And I don't get to write about it. But that would be, yes, it'd be hard for me to believe that was going to happen.
Thanks, Dino.
Thank you.
Coach, thank you very much for your time today. Safe trip back to Syracuse.
Mahalo, Sue.